welcome to today's edition of Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness. I'm Les Winston, and I'm your host, and I'm also an endowment engineer. And I'm an endowment engineer to get you to the road to human kindness. That's what this show is, Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness. And human kindness is paved with love. It's paved with good feelings. It's paved with substantial income that's derived from endowing yourself and then endowing the community. Those are things that we need to do together. And we can do them using the sections of the tax code that Congress gave us all those years ago in 1969 when they passed the legislation that led to the creation of charitable remainder trusts, charitable gift annuities, and pooled income funds. We like to call those 664, and that's part of our theory of social charity. The theory of social charity is that social charity can help you endow yourself and then endow the community when you pass. That's the very simple bargain that Congress made with us in 1969. They said, if you do something good for charity when you pass, we'll give you lower taxes while you're alive. That's what 664 is all about. And 660, we call it the theory of love. You know, we talked about the theory of relativity. Einstein writing to his niece about the most powerful force that he ever knew wasn't E equals MC squared, but rather the power of love. And that's what we call our formula. 664 equals E squared, endowment squared, loving yourself first, creating your own endowment to make your life happy and successful and peaceful and full of joy, and then passing on what you are not using anymore to the community. It's like Social Security, but it's different. The Social Security system is an endowment system. It's one where the government makes you give them money that you use to create an endowment for yourself, which is in the form of income that you get when you retire. But here's the catch. When the government does it, the government doesn't let you keep what you build or do anything with what you build at your choice. What you build goes back to the government when you die. With social charity, it goes to the community the way you direct it. And that's a big difference between the two concepts of having government deal with a problem or having your own community deal with the problem. If your community deals with it and they're using the money that they have lived on and passing it on to the community for support of nonprofit organizations that take care of the community's needs, that's how the community problem is much, much more effective and much more economically sound. But when we talk about love, I have a guest today with me today who represents what they consider above all love, and that is the Salvation Army. My guest today is David Hayton. David is the Director of Development here in Broward, Dade, and Monroe County. Yeah. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, Les. Thank you. It's awesome to be here, and you know.
I know you have on your plate raising money all the time.
Yes, sir. Fundraising.
Not easy.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No,
and you do a lot of things that are great for the community. People know what you do.
You know, and we would like the community to know further what we do. But yeah, the Salvation Army, you know, a lot of people don't realize, you know, how, you know, that we're one of the largest providers of services for, you know, people experiencing homelessness. Mm-hmm. So we have shelter spaces, transitional housing, do all kinds of housing programs for, you know, to lift up the community. In addition to that, we do community feedings. We have our soup kitchens that we're kind of famous for, where people can come in off the street any day of the week, get a warm meal. We have food pantry. In Broward County right now, we're supporting just shy of 1,300 families a month through our food pantry. And
who pays for that?
So we take care of all that. So we for the food pantry, we get most of our food stuffs from the USDA, and then we.
How does that work? How does the USDA give you that food?
Yeah. So you know, we have, you know, they give us a special rate. We do pay for the food. You know, some of it gets donated to us.
But where do they get it?
So the USDA gets it from all kinds of sources. So they have, you know, there's different dealings with different major distributors and warehouses and whatnot, and each state kind of does it a little bit differently.
Is it leftover food, or is it just? I'm just curious how that works.
Yeah,
because
I'm not.
United States Department of
I'm not
Department of
intimately
Agriculture.
familiar with all of that, but it's a variety of things. Some of it's left over, some of it's overstock. Some of it they budget right in, wanting to give to different food pantries and food rooms throughout the community.
So there's a food program at the United States level that helps support these pantries for the homeless.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah, so
you also have thrift shops.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't, they look at our thrift stores and wonder how that all works. Why are we out there raising funds if we have thrift stores that are generating revenue? So, so one interesting thing to know: whenever you see a Salvation Army thrift store, they zero out their budgets every month. It's fascinating. It's an incredibly frugal and efficient operation. Every penny from those thrift stores goes to a regional, what we call an ARC, Adult Rehabilitation Center.
Okay.
And it's for individuals who are experiencing substance misuse. And, in Broward County, for instance, we have 400 men per year.
They're homeless, and they're homeless because of drug use. Or
some of them may or may not be homeless, but it's a residential treatment program that goes for 6 months. And we have 400 men graduating a year at the Broward County Rehab Center, and that's entirely funded by the thrift stores. Now, all of our homeless shelter operations, transitional housing units, rapid rehousing, all of our food operations, all of that we have to fundraise for. All of that, every penny, we have to fundraise for.
There's a reason why they call you an army.
Yes, sir.
You operate like an army.
Yes, sir.
That is actually it's a very involved management process, which requires a lot of effort. How many employees and what's the change between the ratio between volunteers and actual employees?
So that's an interesting subject. So before COVID, we had typically about 3 million volunteers, just under 3 million volunteers every year. In
what would they do, the volunteers?
In 3 years' time,
what would those
that's
volunteers
halved.
be doing? What would they be doing?
Halved. Volunteers would be helping at the food pantry, helping distribute food items, helping in our soup kitchens. We have very few paid staff in our kitchens, so working in the kitchens, working in the food pantry.
It was.
And so before COVID, we had about 3 million, just under 3 million volunteers annually, and that was pretty consistent for a couple decades. In a matter of 3 years, it's gone down to 1.5 million.
Wow,
it's halved, and we're not unique in that experience.
No, you're not.
And it's our culture is going through, many of the altruistic population are aging. There's public health concerns, since COVID and whatnot, and there's really a crisis of volunteerism in the country right now, which is profound.
Should be a lot of people out there that have nothing to do for a little bit. They should be volunteering for the Salvation Army.
We would love that. And
do they all have to dress up like Santa? And
no, you can during Christmas time. You can come and ring the bells as we collect donations in the Red Kettles, our iconic fundraising push every Christmas season throughout the country. A lot of people don't realize that we have. What's that?
How do they do? Do they make a lot of money?
No, not exactly. Not now.
People are not throwing
years ago, it was a significant, really substantial part of our revenue. Increasingly, it's become less that, and it's mainly this iconic PR push. We still raise a significant amount of money every year. Locally in Broward County, we're typically, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 200,000. On a good year, it would be maybe $250,000 that we're taking in during the Christmas season in the kettles, for instance.
And your budget, what's your budget on an annual basis?
Over $13 million now.
Okay.
So as you can see, it's just a portion, but it is a lot of people don't realize that the Salvation Army does a lot with emergency disaster relief. And that's a big part of our budget, a big part of our operation and volunteers.
Right now. California. It was with the storms and everything else.
Yes, sir. With the fires in LA right now, we're providing all kinds of shelter.
Do you get there before FEMA?
Always.
My guess is David Guyton.
No knock against the government.
We're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to be right back. Thank you for joining us, David Guyton from the Salvation Army, Director of Development in Dade, Broward, and Monroe County. Got that right?
Broward County.
Broward County. Dade, Monroe, and Broward County.
Broward.
Okay. Right back. Exciting news. The Discovery 664 Academy podcast is live on Spotify. And if you're not following us there yet, you're missing out. We're dropping new episodes every week, so don't miss out on more of the most powerful strategies to grow wealth through charitable planning. This is what we're all about on this program. When you tune into the Discovery 664 channel, you're going to see podcasts that will enlighten you and keep you up to date on how to deal with your charitable financial planning and to do the best job you can to build yourself your own 664 account. That's what's the end result of what we're trying to do here. We want you to endow yourself and then endow the community. That's what the bargain was when Congress gave us these laws in 1969. Do something good for the community when you pass, and we'll give you lower taxes while you're alive. That's what the bargain is, and that's all we're trying to teach you. Go to the 664 Discovery channel and find out more. And we're back. My guest is David Hayton from the Salvation Army. And the Salvation Army is about love and love of humankind and doing it in the nonprofit world, a nonprofit arrangement, but they still need money to live on. So we're director of development is the job that's a tough job because you're the one that's in charge of getting all of the money raised for what you need to spend in your budget, and it's a chore, I'm sure. But we're trying to make it easier for you by creating endowment. How much of your benefits, how much of your income comes from endowment right now?
Right. So right now, the amount of income in our annual budget that would be coming from the percentage, from our endowments,
from assets that are producing income.
That that comes to be just about $2 million. About $2 million, and
out of 13.
Out of 13, right? So just under $2 million.
Okay.
And again, from our conversation that we were having, up at our place earlier this week, I mean, this is such a robust vision that you guys are casting for the nation. I feel like, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, this vision for the future of the nation is so spot on. It makes so much sense. And when it comes to nonprofits, when it comes to the deepening challenge of trying to fundraise in our world with all the different causes, all the different challenges, and the overall decline in the culture of altruism, of giving, of donating, really the linchpin really is in planned giving. It really is in the space of endowments.
It's time. It takes time. Unfortunately, if Congress had done more to promote these sections of the code in 1969, today, where we're 55 years later, we wouldn't be having this type of a conversation we would expect because their idea was to create more wealth in the charitable sector because they knew that they were never going to be able to sustain what they had created. And there's nothing wrong with what they created, but things change, and we're now in an economic world, and in an economic world, we need to deal with things in an economically sound way. And the programs that are existing right now with government aren't economically sound, but social charity can be economically sound. And if the end result of that is to support nonprofits like the Salvation Army, that's what it's about. I mean, right now, you could go to the government and say, I need another $11 million to run my budget, and they ask for a grant, and the government could give you that money, which is really crazy because they're taking tax dollars and giving you charitable wealth. Right. We can do that directly. And so I'm very happy that what my hypothesis has been all along is that this would work if people know about it. Yes. And so we need to tell people about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you can help us.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think any durable vision for, for longevity, for financial, for fiscal health, for the nonprofit world, for, especially large operations like the Salvation Army is going to require significant focus, a really heightened focus on 664, on, ways that individual donors can shelter from taxes, can create their own wealth mechanisms, their own retirement income vehicles, at the same time as being able to donate to their charity of choice in a maximal way. I mean, that's really where it is.
Are in a great position as a charitable organization because you have the power to help people do that.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't know that works. See, people think that giving to charity is a one-way street, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of slogans and a lot of charity begins at home, and if I give it away, it's gone, and all these things. But that's not the case. Mm-hmm. You can use charity to do amazing things for yourself, and then for the charity. And that's what everybody's legacy should be. And if we can get that communicated to enough people, everybody knows what a 401k is.
Right.
Why? Because wirehouses and all the stockbrokers and all the people that make money off of that, they wanted to promote that because it was a way of accumulating assets. And the same thing is true with this, but it's a little bit more complex in some ways, but seriously not more complex than a 401k. 401k is mind-boggling.
Imagine if the 664. Imagine if endowments like this. Imagine if this was as much a staple in a typical employee's benefit package.
Correct.
As a 401k.
Exactly.
Imagine if employers educated their employees about 664 like they do about 401ks. I mean, because the word that you used a moment ago, I think, is key: legacy. Mm-hmm. And I think we've lost that a bit in our culture, in our generation. Mm-hmm. Where is that forward thinking, that future thinking about building a legacy that lasts? Maybe there's too much doom and gloom, in our media, in our entertainment. But really, let's look out 200 years from now. Let's build a legacy that lasts, and this is the pathway.
You got to look forward to something. It's always, I think that if you've created something where you are contributing to something that is going to happen in the future that you have some control over, that benefits you and also benefits the community, that is a driving force. And one of the things that I did, we did an interview yesterday, it'll air in, I think, a couple of weeks, with someone who actually focuses people on working at their genius. Okay. What does it mean to work at your genius? And working at your genius means you've gotten to the point where you have your confidence over your money, you have confidence over your relationships, your time, and your spiritual body is good. And now you can focus on a thing that you love to do 24 hours a day, never get tired of, could do it forever. And it also helps others. Mm-hmm. The year of human kindness is where we're headed, I hope. Yeah. And I think the Salvation Army is the lead, one of the lead organizations, and we're extremely, extremely happy that you got the message, and we're
well. No, thank you, and really, we're looking forward to connecting more deeply with you, and here in South Florida, we got to get the message out. We really do. I really want to get my.
Well, you have an event coming up on March 8th.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where is that?
Deerfield Beach.
Okay.
In Deerfield Beach on Saturday evening, March 8th, we have our second annual Red Shield Regatta.
Okay.
And this is a beautiful event, fun event. It's a regatta-themed event. At this point, we have radio-controlled sailboats.
Okay.
Someday, we're actually going to have real sailboats, okay? Because we're down here in South Florida, the perfect place to do a regatta. Mm-hmm. Look, we're going to have gourmet food, open bar, some great entertainment, silent auction. It's a fundraising event. This is our signature fundraising event of the year. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have you guys there. We want you guys to be there and available to interact with our donors, with our key donors, because we've got to get the word out. We want to help educate the donor community, and not just those that think of themselves as big donors, major donors, but even those who are on the edge and wondering how they can improve their own situation so they can start
that's good, because we're going to be giving this book away at that
awesome.
At that presentation. We want people to get familiar with the word social security. And that's how the tax code 664 saved the alpha generation and the nation. And that's what this is all about. Social security. Get used to the terminology. Theory of social security, 664, and all those things. And they can help build charitable wealth that you can help the Salvation Army with. And there are ways to do current giving in conjunction with that, so you can benefit yourself, benefit the organization now to a degree, benefit yourself for your lifetime and then benefit the organization that you choose at the end of your life. You can't do things better than that, frankly. And if you can do that, enjoy your life and be working at your genius while you're doing it, all the better.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take another short break, and then we're going to come back. I want to ask you some of the really important questions, a couple of them anyway I got in mind. Okay, thank you. We'll be right back.
Our protagonist, Jack, was a 65-year-old retiree who'd always been known for his offbeat sense of humor and love for numbers. He'd been searching for a way to support his community while securing his retirement income. One day, while browsing through the depths of the internet, Jack stumbled upon an article about Tax Code 664 and its potential benefits for charitable planning.
Hello, welcome to today's edition of Route 664, the road to you and kindness.
Curious and excited, Jack decided to delve further into this mysterious code. He spent hours poring over tax law books and articles until he became a self-proclaimed expert on the subject. He'd tell his friends, "Who needs a doku when you've got tax codes to crack?" Armed with his newfound knowledge, Jack approached his financial advisor, Martha, and shared his idea of utilizing Tax Code 664 to set up a charitable trust. He was convinced that this strategy would benefit not only his retirement, but also his beloved community, particularly the revitalization of the local park. With a twinkle in her eye, Martha acknowledged Jack's enthusiasm and praised his resourcefulness. Together, they devised a plan to establish a charitable trust that provided Jack with a stable retirement income and directed the remaining funds towards renovating the park. Word of Jack's innovative approach spread like wildfire, inspiring others in the community to explore the potential of Tax Code 664. Soon, more and more people began implementing charitable planning strategies to support various community projects, ranging from building a new animal shelter to establishing a local art center. As Jack took his daily strolls through the newly renovated park, he couldn't help but smile. His Tax Code 664 adventure had not only secured his retirement, but also transformed the community in more ways than he could have ever imagined. With a wink and a grin, Jack would often say, "Looks like the joke's on boring retirement plans." Who knew tax codes could be so much fun? Who? Remember, your financial journey can be both impactful and entertaining when you explore the potential of charitable planning with Tax Code 664. Visit endowamerica.com. With the right knowledge and guidance, anyone can turn their dreams into a reality. Leave a lasting legacy that benefits generations to come. endowamerica.com. Plan, prosper, pass on. The power of 664.
And we're back. My guest is David Guyton with the Salvation Army, and they're going to have the Red Shield Regatta. It's going to be Saturday, March 8th from 6 to 10 p.m., and it's going to be at the park at JM Family Enterprises, which is at 200 Jim Moran Boulevard in Deerfield Beach. And that looks like a really good time.
Yeah, we had a blast last year, and we're looking forward to making this a mainstay every year.
And there's food and drink, and people can...
food, drink, and it's a great networking opportunity. It's a great... there's a lot of fun. It's just a great night out for a cause, you know?
Family?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, you can bring families, bring whomever, but it's a great moment. You can, if you just want to Google it, Red Shield Regatta, come right up, the website, tickets, all of that, sponsorship opportunities. But this is our flagship.
The ticket price is $150 per person.
It is.
You got to let people know that.
It is. It is $150 a person, but I promise you will not be disappointed. It's a lot of food, gourmet food, a lot of drink, and just a really good time.
Okay, so you'll get to see us there as well. We're going to be in attendance and spreading the word. If you give me a microphone, I'll sing.
Every penny raised go toward is going to go towards our homeless shelter on Broward Boulevard for our operations, and it's
homeless shelter on Broward Boulevard. How much are you expanding that?
So we're not exactly sure right now, but we're on the cusp of almost doubling operations over the next 18 months. So we're in a lot of conversations with the city, with the county, internally with our board. But we're just trying to respond to the needs of the community. We're at full capacity. We've been at full capacity, and the waiting lists have never been longer. Mm-hmm. And we have the largest population of homeless individuals in the entire state in Broward County. and the problem is getting worse, not better. So we have to expand. We have to come up with more space.
The need is getting greater.
Yes.
And that's part of our, one of the things we do with Endow America, we kind of segment, we kind of silo things, I guess you want to call it, where we have safe schools, safe streets, great streets, safe care, great care, and then safe homes, great homes. But you fit into a couple of those categories, which are really important for the communities to be able to handle. And you're an amazing facility for the community because you are solving a very significant problem, which is getting worse. And I can't imagine what it's going to be like in Los Angeles, and our friends in Los Angeles, as an Army. How do you approach that?
You dive in. That's what you do. You dive in, link arms. One of the things I appreciate about the Salvation Army is we do a pretty good job of partnering with other agencies, partnering with everybody on the ground, faith communities of non-faith, everyone. We link arms and try to prioritize giving out of care, shelter. A lot of people don't realize how deeply we've been involved in emergency disaster services since 1900, the hurricane in Galveston, Texas.
Well, you were founded in 1865. I think people need to know that, which is amazing.
1865, the slums of East London is where we grew out from. That was our origins, trying to help the most impoverished communities. Now we're in 134 countries. And with the emergency disaster response, every penny that's given towards that goes on the ground. Not a cent is taken for admin, which we have to raise ourselves. But it's an awesome enterprise. People don't realize after Katrina, for instance, the Salvation Army stayed on for years, built over 17,000 homes in conjunction with other agencies. But we did a lot with feeding.
What's the role that you take in that? Are you the arranging it? Are you the liaison between the person that's in need and the services? Is that how you work?
So basically, the Salvation Army, we're typically among the first that are on the scene, and we come with our mobile feeding units, and we just start immediately providing what we can provide as close to ground zero as possible. And then we move out from there. We're always the last to leave the scene because we're in it for the long haul. We already operate in every zip code in the country, and we're there for systemic change. We're there to try to be an incubation to help people help themselves to get into a better situation. And so,
well, you're ending up. You're basically. When folks have gotten to the Salvation Army, that's because they're really in problems.
Sure,
they've got
absolutely.
a lot of issues. There are a lot of people in California that were very fortunate. The wealthy people in California whose homes burned, they probably have a lot of places where they can go and they can afford to do whatever they need to do. And I don't know that they're going to end up needing Salvation Army, but there's a lot of people out there that were not in that category who are going to be, that have lost everything.
Yes.
And they're going to be part of this ongoing service that the Salvation Army can provide.
Yes, and because of our servant leadership and because of I think just the very meek posture that we have, we've been leaned upon by the government in a lot of scenarios as kind of like the neutral place, the neutral agency to where everything else gathers around during different emergencies. For instance, 9/11, we were there within 40 minutes at ground zero, offering shelter, not knowing what was going on, before the buildings collapsed, and we're there trying to figure out what's going on. We ended up operating a huge base there where various different government agencies and different nonprofits were all operating within, and we basically coordinated all that, provided emotional support, and boots for firefighters, every little thing you could think of, along with hot meals.
The Salvation Army. That's Salvation Army is what that's all about. And we'd like to endow you, to get the endowment to the point where it can support what you need to do. And we can do that using the tools of social charity.
Yeah.
So we look forward to working with you in this venture and getting that endowment built. Thank you for joining us today on Route 664.
Thank you, Les.
David Guyton. And we're going to see you at the Red Shield Regatta on the 8th of March, from
Saturday,
6
March
to 10 p.m. at the park at JM Family Enterprises. It's $150 admission, so that's a nice contribution. If you itemize, you can take it off your tax return, and it is a tax-deductible contribution. And you can make bigger contributions when you get there. We can help you do that. And you have, I know that it's an uplifting organization. It's about love. You got a story you can share with us?
I can tell you about a neighbor of mine named Bogdan. He's from the Ukraine, 70 years old, diabetic, difficulty seeing, recently had to stop working. He's been in the country for about 20 years, but because of language barriers, culture, not aware of a lot of the social support services that are offered. And I got speaking with him and understood the difficulty of his situation. And I said, Bogdan, I said, the Salvation Army gives out food every Thursday morning. And he just couldn't believe it. He was like, what do you mean, give out food? I said, free food. And he just couldn't believe that. And so he didn't have a way to drive. I took him with me, and Thursday morning got him 2 boxes of food, including a frozen turkey. And he was absolutely overwhelmed by that experience. And he's been able to take advantage of that food room, and since then some other programs offered by the Salvation Army to help him with his medicine, help him with his shelter situation.
It's good work. Salvation Army. It's all about love, and we'll see you on the March 8th at JM Family Enterprises Park. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Les.